One. And
Recording in progress.
it's recording in progress. And we are recording with a lot of people don't know this, but Aaron's actually my husband. I don't think his wife knows it, but Aaron is my husband, my chocolate bear. I am his vanilla
Mm-hmm.
bear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you were like first 25 episodes. You were my if there's ever like a trial against me, you'll be thrown in jail with me for like an original conspirator. And if the
Uh,
podcast succeeds, you'll be in like the inner circle. So I mean, there's really no gray area. You're either fucking or you're fucked. But Aaron, real quick, I always mention you. I said you're the only person that's both smarter and dumber than me, in that you completed a year of medical school, but you went to medical school for a year. So I got in and I'm smart enough to get in, dumb enough to not go. You were smart enough to complete a year and pass everything and then not go. So you beat me on both fields.
well, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because I mean, if I recall correctly, man, you don't have the student loans from that 1 year. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be paying that shit off for a minute, man.
So you're dumber than me.
I am dumber than you. So it's an oxymoron. It's a paradox. We are both smarter and dumber than each other at the same time. We're Schrodinger's idiot.
It is it is at any given time I am a genius and a retard. This is it's Schrodinger's IQ level. But
Yeah.
yeah, so when we first started talking, which was I mean almost 3 years ago,
Yeah, it's been three
which
years.
which is
What?
well, I started December 2019 and you were like first 20 guests. So I mean probably January 2020. So 2 years and 9 months,
Yeah.
33 months. I mean, Christ
Mm,
almighty. But
mm.
when we first talked, I mean, tell everyone your story because you do. I mean, I'm the only person I know that got into medical school and didn't go. You're, I think, the only person I know that went and did a year. I have some friends that I think went and completed it and then didn't, but they're rich, so I don't think they really cared. You're the only person I know that actually did a year and then you chose not. It's not like you failed that. You chose to not go. So your story is as absurd as mine. Could you maybe explain that to people and I guess also introduce yourself to them?
Yeah. So yeah, like Tommy said, my name is Aaron. I am Schrodinger's idiot. I am both smart and dumb. I I guess the way that I would describe the story is that I was in class one day and I was not paying attention. It was like, health and society, be good people, be good doctors. And like, it's I'm not trying to talk bad about it because it is important, but in the grand scheme of things, especially for those of you in the medical field, if you've been to med school, you're kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Like I'm
fuck
trying
it.
to study, physiology or
Yeah.
immunology or whatever. And what was it? So it was actually the day that we landed on a comet and like they were sending in like the data from that. And I was watching it like on YouTube, and like NASA's involved, the European Space Agency. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, like, yo, that's what I want to do, dog. Like, man, forget saving people's lives. Like, that's no, I don't want that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
fuck
man.
off.
Fuck it. Yeah.
We're all dying. Spoiler alert, we're all dying. I'm out of this shit.
Yeah, you like, oh no, I don't want to do this. And so I mean, of course, though, it wasn't that instant
Yeah.
because you spend a lot of time trying to get into medicine, you invest money, you take out a very expensive student loan. And I had to sit and think about it. But at the end of the day, like you can't put a price on your happiness. And at the end of my first year, I really sat down, like I talked with my counselor, I talked with like the administration, like we all it was a long process because at first I was going back and forth and I didn't know how I would like if I was really going to be committed to medicine. Should I stay? Should I go? And at the end of the year, I just decided to bet on myself and leave. And I mean, I'm not going to pretend like that was the easiest decision or that I
Of course
haven't
not.
had moments where I'm like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Like, yeah,
I
like,
have
what am
I
I
have
doing?
those every week.
Yeah, exactly. I still have those. Like,
I,
I have
I
those.
I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. I have those every where I'm like, let's see. I would have finished by 2018. I probably would have finished whatever residency I was doing by now. I'd be like, "Oh, I really would be Dr. Carrigan, just like smooth sailing, just making cash."
Yeah. But it's so interesting because like so much has changed since we talked last. And so now like I'm on the other side of the hill and I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, it's worth it. Like the heroes, you talk about the
The
hero's
hero's
journey
journey.
and like when you're going through it, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. It's like, bro, just keep your legs moving, you're gonna make it. So long story short, I I spend the next few years figuring my life out. I decided to go back to school for engineering. And then while I was going back to school for engineering, I ended up working for NASA a few summers. I did stuff with robotics. I considered doing a startup, did a startup for about a year and a half, said, you know what, that's not the life for me, and just, walked away from it. And now I finished my engineering degree and I work for NASA as a contractor. So I like get to work on cool space stuff from the comfort of my home. The project that I'm doing, like it's the Roman Space Telescope, so it's like going to be the successor to Hubble, and I mean like it's getting launched. So this like what I'm doing matters, and to I guess to be where I am now is such a relief because I remember there were times where I was like going through school again, trying to figure stuff out again, where I was like, yo, bro, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like I might have to quit and just get a regular job. I was like, oh shit, I might have to go back to med school. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
like looking back on it, I still don't have any like rose tinted like romanticism or rose colored, whatever the saying is.
Hmm.
To me, I look back at it and I'm like, it's just horrifying. It was just it exists just horrifying. And I think
Hmm.
we talked about the hero's Germany, journey, Odysseus, right? And
Hmm.
we talked about how not only that, but then there are moments which are almost even worse than failing, are the moments where you think you're about to succeed, and you're like, I figured it out. I remember in like 2018 doing graphic design. At that point, it had been 5 years since I decided not to go to medical school, and I was like, the 5 years are over. I figured out what I want to do. And then a year later, I started the podcast. And now it's been 3 years since that. And I'm just now being like, I think it's gonna work. Like you're pushing off the dock and you're in like the canoe you built out of band-aids and glue, and you're like, all right, we're floating. We're floating. Like
Hmm.
that's even worse. Is like those false like mirages in the desert of like finding the oasis and it's really just heat above the sand. Like,
Yeah, I'll go on.
yeah, no, go.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's so funny because we talked about like Odysseus and the hero's journey. Like that's a part of the Odyssey. He like he can see the shore of Ithaca. He's about to go home. Then all of a sudden, yeah, one of his crewmates like opens up a bag of winds and he gets stuck out at sea for 10 more years. And I mean, like, but that's how it is, man. When you are on your own journey, when you are like deviating from the beaten path, like there's a reason why it is admired and there's a reason why everybody doesn't do it. And that's because like the stuff that's romanticized is because it's hard and like people don't understand it, and because it requires a level of risk and confidence and even just sheer dumbassery to succeed. Like there are like because I don't consider my journey to be over, but I'm definitely at like a I hit the next altitude and I'm leveling off the plane,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, all right, let's see what we are and before we continue to climb again. Like but in this stage, like I'm definitely a lot more reflective, especially over the last 6 years, because again, like just graduated school the second time, uh it got the job that I was like, oh, there's no way in hell I could get that. Like, and here it is. So I I mean, but again, it's not easy and it's not straightforward. And that's what I like. I wonder like if that's the next stage is like sharing that story more, like being like, yo, like it's okay. It's going to feel like you're going forwards and backwards, left, right, up, and down. But if you keep your feet moving and you just be open to the possibilities, then you're going to end up in a better place than you started. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for.
There is like like you would then think, like, listening to us talk, like, you might be thinking, no, don't, you guys sound like you're comfortable now. You're like, but it's not that. I would say now I don't have any false hope that the journey's over. I'm like analytically, like just through actual numbers and graphs, I can see the podcast is growing about tenfold a year, and it's done
Mhm.
that for 3 straight years. I know that like the whole mirage on the horizon can exist and probably still does exist, but the difference is like I don't think I get duped by it anymore. And that may sound contradictory. Like, no, that means you're going to get duped, but it's not that at all. Like now when I see something, I go, oh, that looks great. It's probably bullshit. And I'm like, you start to like really accept the like grind of, hey, if it's easy and it just seems like it's at your doorstep, it's a Trojan horse. Leave it alone.
Mhm. I would
I've just
say
I've just
on the
accepted it's going to be a slog.
yeah, and I think it's like a lot of athletes, especially basketball players, they don't hit their primes until they're in their late 20s, early 30s. So they would have been in the league about 10 years. And it's your body is declining, but your mind is just sharp because you've seen so much of the game that like you just
Yeah.
have an intuition of what's going to happen or how things should be. And I feel like when you do something off the beaten path for so long, eventually you do gain an intuition, and with that you gain a bit of, it's not an arrogance per se, but it's a confidence. It's like, all right, look, like I have been through so many storms, another one's coming, you
Yeah.
just you
It's
just
like
know it's coming.
you're
Yeah,
like, yeah, let's fucking go. Like,
exactly.
yeah, you survive your first like tidal wave, and you're like gasping for air, and you're like, oh, I did it. I survived the wave. And then like you can't contemplate that there might be a second wave. But after like 704 waves, you're like, yeah, these suck dick. There's
Yeah,
another one
exactly.
coming. You're like, hold on, gotta get ready for the wave. You
Yeah,
sort of like almost develop like a muscle to it.
exactly. And I think, and your expectations too become a lot more realistic. You don't, I guess you lose some of that naivete, but I think it's still possible to remain optimistic about what's ahead in the future and how you're growing. And then also, if you do things long enough, you're going to have stuff happen and it's just going to be so unexpected. You're going to be like, wow, I wasn't even considering that, but that's a thing and it's cool and it's working, so I'm cool with it. Let's keep doing it. So I mean, with these, I guess like with stories like ours, because we are birds of a feather, it's people go through this and it is about the journey more than the destination. And when you do reach your, I guess your leveling off point, because again, we talked about this in the past too, where it's like, I don't think I'm ever going to stop chasing something, but like how I chase will change over time. But when I reach points where I'm like, all right, now I'm leveling off, I'm kind of scanning the horizon, that's when you talk about it and share the story. And that's when you really, bring it back to people and help them get through it, because you don't know who your story could inspire, man. Like, I don't know, it could be like, I don't know, the dude that, becomes Elon Musk 3.0 and actually gets us to Mars or whatever could be listening to this podcast right now. So I mean, that's why you do it. That's why you go through it.
Isn't that actually one of the steps of the hero's journey? I
I,
remember in like 25th, no, like 2016, I was like obsessively reading about the hero's journey. I was
mhm.
like trying to find the steps and then I finally realized that as I just pushed forward with like the pursuit, you look back in hindsight and you kind of see these moments where you're like, oh, that was that. And it is kind of creepy how accurate it is. But I've
Mhm.
stopped like looking at it. Like, when is it gonna come? I'm just like, it's you'll look back and you'll see it fit into that framework, but there's really no point in trying to use it as like a cheat code. But isn't that like one of the, if I recall, I think one of the steps is like it's like bringing the message back.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think that's one of the steps. That sounds right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say that is probably, I mean, when you think about it, because I don't know about you, but like as the older that I get, the less that I start to see time in bigger chunks. And so
Yeah.
now I'm not thinking of like, you know, because when I was a kid, like next year seemed like such a long
Well,
way away.
it's like 30% of your life. When
Exactly.
you're five, another years, I mean, that's 20% of your life.
Right. And now it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna, I mean, I'm 32. It's not like I'm that old, but my mind is definitely starting to shift. And I'm thinking about things in terms of like, oh, well, what will this look like in a decade?
Yeah.
What will this look like in, 20, 30, 40 years? And I guess part of the stage that I'm at now is like, oh, okay, I'm in this bit of a lull period. And so, how can I package this up nicely and share what I've learned and propagate that on down? Because I mean, this might be my story, but then somebody could take something from my
Hmm.
story and use it to craft theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you definitely do it. There's a guy I was friends with back in like when I first met him. I want to say 2017 or 2018. I think he was like I think he did graphic design. I don't recall it. But I remember like messaging on my stuff and was like talking about like what I was doing. And I don't think he ever used the term hero's journey, but he's like, yeah, you're definitely like you're in it. Like you're going for it. Like, yeah, you're all by yourself. Like everyone thinks you're crazy and like you probably are. And he's like, and he was I remember him telling me he was like kind of what you're saying. He's like, I'm just now reaching like cruising altitude. And I always wondered why he took the time of day to talk to me because he was several years older than me. Dude was, and he was just starting to like hit his stride. I don't want to like give him away. Who I don't think he's like that famous. But dude was like making like millions by like 35, and was like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I always wondered why the fuck he talked to me, and like, and now I think I kind of get it. I think he was in a weird way probably like paying some sort of like karma forward or back where like if you're willing to do 99.99% of the work, he was willing to give you that like 0.01% of like, here's my 2 cents.
Hmm.
And now he's gone to like an even further level. He got married, he's got a little kid now. He's kind of going for like the more fulfilling things because he's just got fucking money in the bank. But I kind of almost feel like in another couple years we'll be coming up on like that stage where there's still a little arrogance in us being like, let us tell you the wisdom. Cause like I am still doing a podcast from like an apartment,
Hmm.
but it's on an upwards trajectory. And I definitely do start to feel like, oh, it's not, you do kind of, you've got to go, find someone who's like slogging through the bullshit and be like, hey, you feel crazy and you probably are crazy, but like, keep going.
Hmm.
Like, I was saying, I wanted to pick your brain about this. I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
Um, that naivety. You it's good to lose. It's good to kind of like ablate that surface away,
Hmm.
just burn it off with a torch. But like you also don't want to get rid of it because it is that childlike curiosity that sort of allows you to like not to sound like some Hallmark card, but like reach for the stars.
Yeah. No.
And like I still find myself doing that where sometimes I'm like, that's not gonna happen. Like work harder. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, don't forget like what you're I have this podcast like studio in my apartment that is like has moved faster and made bigger strides in 3 years than I ever could have imagined.
Hmm.
Like I'm living in like a dream that I wanted to condensate into reality. From me being able to like afford better camera and computers and lighting to like getting bigger guests on. Like this was a an unrealistic fantasy. And every once in a while when I find myself getting too grounded and I'm like, you gotta be serious, you gotta manage your expectations. I'm like, that's no, because if I wanted to manage my expectations, I would have shut the fuck up and gone to medical school. Like you don't want to completely silence like the child inside of you.
Right. And so with that, because I agree, and that's why I do agree with keeping the curiosity. I think it is you're gonna trade a little bit of that off because unfortunately, like, as you get older, like, knowledge and cynicism just tend to walk
Creeping
hand in hand. Yeah. But you still like I agree with you. Like you still gotta you definitely have to do things to maintain like that sense of awe and wonder. And it's like, oh, this is why I did this. This is cool. Like, I don't know, like the other day I was sitting at work over a meeting. I was like, oh my God, why are we still in this meeting? This is so boring. And I'm like, why are these people talking? Like, can we just go? But then I had to take a step back and be like, yo, we're having this meeting to talk about launching this thing into space. Like, this is the shit you wanted to work on when you were 5, dog. You doing it now.
Yeah, yeah. You would like 3 years ago, like you would have jerked off a homeless man for this opportunity.
Exactly. And I think it's just it is human nature a bit to like normalize what you have.
Yeah,
Like guys who are guys who are like millionaires, they're like, oh, being a millionaire, oh, this is
yeah. I wish
it's
I was a
terrible.
billionaire. Like,
Yeah.
but is that then? Is that the answer to the question? Is the normalization what keeps the curiosity alive? Is it you go cool, 12,000 subscribers on Rumble, 3,000 on Spotify. You go cool, 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 cool. What's the next level? Is it is it like a more mature curiosity? Because we could look at it two ways. Like, oh, like that you used to dream about this and now you don't even care about it. Or is it like, no, you're keeping that like eternal engine moving. You're like, all right, this is cool. Fuck this shit though. I want to interview Elon Musk. Like,
Yeah.
is could there be like a positive side to the normalization?
I think so. I mean, I feel like everything that we do, a lot of what we do has a positive and a negative. And so when you normalize again, it's like again, you get to that cruising altitude, you're like, oh, that's cool. But then you see that next peak and you're like, let's go for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like as you're going, like I feel like it's good to every now and again just take a step back and look at where you were. Like even just like looking at where I was a year ago, 6 months ago, it's like,
It's wild.
yeah, I was like, I did not expect this stuff to play out the way that it did. And to be grateful for where you are. Like I think that we often say that you when you normalize or when you're striving for more, you're not grateful for what you have. And I think that those two can coexist. Like I'm grateful for, all the progress that I've made in my journey. I feel like you're grateful for all the progress you made in your journey as well. But it's okay to still want more. Like that's what makes us human, man. Like that's what we live for is more.
Yeah. That's also like, yeah, there's two ways to look at that. Is like, oh, you're always going to be chasing. You're never going to fill like the hole inside of you. That's one way to look at it. But the other way is like, it's just the best fucking video game. There's no worse feeling than
Yeah.
when you beat a video game. I think you and I had this discussion. There's
Hmm.
no worse feeling. You're like, okay, guess I could go back and play it on like hard, but you're like, I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And now if it's like a special achievement or something that you get for playing on hard,
Like
maybe, but like, yeah.
maybe I'll
Yeah.
maybe some unlock some different weapons or like Easter
Mm,
eggs. Okay. But like that's how I try to look at this. I'm like, this is just the best fucking video game ever. Like,
yeah.
what happens when I max out the podcast? I'm like, well, there's more than just the podcast. Like maybe I want to do X. Podcasting is so unlike medicine. It's not like, oh, I went from medicine to instead I did medical research. It's no, I went from like the white coated doctor to just like yelling at a camera. They're so not at all even on the same like evolutionary lineage that part of me is like, what am I going to be doing in 2030? I might go like, oh, podcast was cool. That set me up financially. Now I'm doing X, Y, or Z. I don't view that as like a negative, oh, you'll never find it. No, no, no. The pursuit is the it.
Yeah. And okay. Like, and I think because, my wife and I, we had this conversation. We had this a couple of times within the last few years because she's like, well, I couldn't live like that because then I would never be happy. And I'm like, well, babe, like, that's just kind of like I will always chase something. It's like,
Yes.
okay, if it wasn't space, then I want to learn how to dive caves. If I don't learn how to dive
Yeah.
caves, I want to build a freaking Gundam. Like, I don't know, there will
Yeah.
always be something. Like and that's okay because for me, it's the something that keeps me going.
That's yeah. I mean, and it's just I fucking hate the quote so much. Like it's not about the destination, it's the journey. No, go fuck yourself. Like it's really good to get to the destination. Go fucking drop out of medical school and tell me it's about the journey. No, go suck a dick. It's miserable. It's terrifying. There's no guarantee it's gonna work. You're full of regret. You really have no confirmation that you haven't totally lost it. Like it's bad, but there is nothing better than it. There's nothing like to me that is happiness. Is like happiness to me is the illusion that if I complete this thing, I'll find happiness.
Uh, I mean, I would say from a different perspective, like happiness to me is just like I was when I'm moving to something,
Yeah.
it's hope. That's what it is. I
Yeah.
think that like, for me, like how do I describe this? Like, I ran track back in college, right? And then I did like distance running and all that. And people would be like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "But that's like," they're like, "Why do you run?" It's like, I don't know. It's just when you do it, you feel good, and then when you're done, you feel even better. And I
Yeah.
think it's the same principle. It's like when, well, you don't feel good when you do it, but you know that it's a good thing
Yeah.
internally.
Yeah.
But then when you stop and like you like look and you look at how far you've gone, you let that
Yeah.
high hit you, and you're like, oh, this is why this is a thing. Like
Like
I see that now. Yeah.
maybe it's just like a hopeless addiction.
Yeah.
Maybe we're both just addicts, but we've just found like a natural high. So
Yeah.
no, so nobody looks down on it.
Yeah. I think I remember reading research. I don't know how accurate it was, but like the runner's high you get is like blasting yourself with morphine or heroin. So
I mean, dude, the dopamine hit of like nailing a podcast and like getting the guest, like I don't need drugs. I get like high as a kite off that. It's the best
exactly.
feeling. I don't know then. Do you ever find then? Because sometimes like I'll look at, I don't know, I'll just like look at kind of like the quote unquote normal life. And like there does seem to be like a romantic idea of just granted you're also viewing it through the lens of social media, which is not real at all.
No,
But
not at all. It's terrible.
but yeah, that being said, we'll take the premise that this entire thing's horseshit, but whatever. It's like I don't know, you look at like, oh, like they're going to the bar on Friday and there's a concert or a football game or they're all going to the beach or they're all still hanging out, years after college. And part of me, like my heart tugs at that. But then part of me is like, there's no like greater feeling than just like the obsession of a goal. I mean, like an not like a kind of obsession. I mean, like I have to do this.
Hmm.
Like I have to slay the dragon. Do you think that's just like something that you almost have to like come to terms with is like you can't have both and someone else might look at me and be like I couldn't, like one of my best friends is like married, normal nine to
Hmm.
five job Monday through Friday. And he's like, and I turned it off at 5 p.m. and on Fridays I turn it off. And like that's cool. He's got the wife and the kid and they look just happy as shit for them. I'm like in my mind I'm like that's great. And he looks at me and he's like I couldn't do what you do. And I'm like, and I couldn't do what you do. And it's like not an insult to either. It's just like the idea of like me just turning this off. Like, no, I fucking work on this. I'm playing video games at 1 in the morning and I'm like still keeping like an email thread going with like a potential guest. Like it never ends.
Yeah. What are you playing, by the way?
What?
What games are you playing? Like, I don't mean to sidetrack
Oh,
us.
I
I'm
don't give
just
a shit.
curious.
No, let's go
Yeah,
sidetrack
yeah. I
entirely.
know.
Let's
Yeah.
let's
It's
go
like,
full Odysseus on this, man.
let's just,
Let's go to the sirens. I just
yeah.
started playing like 3 nights ago, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Okay. Yeah.
I tried last fall and I hated it, but I'm trying it again now and I'm giving it a fair shake. I actually really like it.
Yeah. Oh, I was asking because me and my homie, we're running Deep Rock Galactic right now. And
Oh,
it's,
I played that in like February. I played that for like a couple nights.
dude, get on it. Dude, it's
I'll get
awesome.
back
Like,
on it.
yeah,
I'll
get
get
back on it. Yeah. Well, Give me your gamer tag.
Okay, okay, yeah, no, my buddy, actually a fan of the podcast, who's been my friend for like 2 years now. He always fuck with me, be like, you got to get on PC, and I was like, dude, I'm an Xbox fag. Like, I'm sorry, I got,
Yeah.
and he's just got cash. And one day it was like it was like December, and I was on like Discord with them, and they're like, dude, you gotta play with us. And it's like a bunch of guys that like listen to the podcast, like, Tommy, game with us. And I'm like, dude, I just bought like a Series X Xbox. Like, I'm not fucking. And so finally, I was just kind of being a dick. I was like, buy me a fucking PC, and I'll sell this Xbox tomorrow. And like a week later, a fucking $3,000 pre-built gaming rig shows up at my door. RTX 3080, fucking
Oh,
for like what I didn't even know computer shit. So I went and got like a 4K monitor. I went and got a fucking gaming keyboard and everything. It's right. You can't really see it, but you can hear it. It's right there. And I got
no,
another
that's
monitor
awesome.
right here, dude. So I've been playing PC since like January. It's been
Oh,
fucking great.
yeah. See, I'm still on Xbox, and my homie was like, "Well, I'm getting rid of my old PC. If you want it, you can have it." I'm like, "Oh, snap!" But we got to figure out where we're going to put it in the house and where the aesthetics are going to go because I don't. I
You
just
gotta do
kind
it
of
right.
yeah. I don't really own anything in this house. I just kind of managed it.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I'm
you're
not the
you're you're a
boss.
tenant. You're a tenant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a handyman occasionally.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're just there for the looks. You're just
Yeah,
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 you're just a moving, living statue. You're a Greek god who just also smiles.
exactly. But yeah, man, we've been running Deep Rock Galactic. That's been my thing. But to like bring it back, yeah, it's
Oh, I don't care. We can go down a video game rabbit hole. I don't give a shit.
well, I was gonna bring the
Oh, okay.
metaphor back
All right.
because like I think a lot of personalities gaming draws in a certain set of personalities, and like a lot of people that game tend to also be somewhat countercultural,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're gonna want to deviate more because like we spend our entire lives playing these games where you're traveling off the beaten path and you're the hero of the story, so naturally it would make sense that a lot of us feel
Yeah.
like that is us. And so I don't know, because it's like my friends who don't play video games, they're like, yo man, like I don't understand how you do it. And I'm like, I don't understand how do you not game, like why wouldn't you, like
Have
real life kind of sucks.
real life sucks, but this is actually just the natural progression. Like our parents thought that playing video games was going to lead to like us doing Columbine, but actually has led to me like becoming an entrepreneur, like being healthier than I've ever been before, like saving money, like being a better person than I've ever been in my life has indirectly come from video. This is something that I had that like I'm like always kind of blown away by. But do you ever take away like actual life lessons, and maybe not normal life lessons, but like kind of hero's journey lessons? Like because I have
Oh hell yeah, from
from
video
video
games,
games.
yeah, yeah. So like, dude, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Like I always talk about like Far Cry 5. I think I played Far Cry 4. I never played another ones prior to it. Whatever. Far Cry 5 is you're in like some weird cult out in Montana, and you're like fighting the ATF and the DEA. I mean, really, it's what it comes down to is just like, fuck the man. Like, don't trust cops. But it's just like redneck version. Whatever. And like I remember playing it in like 2020 and very quickly realizing that like it really didn't matter how good your skills were. It could be trumped by if you got like a just like a solid 50 cal sniper with like a silencer on it. Like if you could do that, like you it didn't really matter. You didn't need to like fuck the plot. You could just go roam around the countryside, become like a god, max out everything, and then you just waltz through the campaign as a god, right? You're just level 100, just demolishing people. You have all the weapons. You're supposed to go fight like a couple of rednecks, but I'm like, you already. I have like air support now, and I'm like, fuck, you just bulldoze through it, which is my favorite thing to do, is to max out a player and then do the campaign.
Yeah.
But it was so I remember trying to figure out like, okay, well then how do I get all the guns and all the silencers and all the scopes and all the armor piercing ammo, the incendiary ammo? Like, how do I max this out? Like, so I want the 50 cal sniper, I want like the 50 cal belt fed and like pistol and like, whatever, just all the goodies. And I was like, well, I need money. And then like you can buy, like microtransactions, but fuck that. So I found the quickest way is like you can like hunt animals and like sell like their pelts. I was like, okay. And it was like a wolf or something would be worth like $500, but in like the pelt of like a cow would be worth like $50. And but then I found like a place where you could sell them. And there's not a lot of vehicles in the game, so it's a lot of walking. I found a place you could sell them, and it's across the street from a farm. And I was like, hold
Mhm.
up. And so like I was like, what's the quick? And you can hold like 5 or 10 pelts at a time. So kind of going like pre-med, I learned how to like mechanize the process of
Exactly. Yeah.
where I would just walk over to the farm, use silencer for I'd kill the farmer, and then I would just kill 10 cows in a minute, walk across the street, take 30 seconds, sell it all for $500, reload on armor or ammo, maybe like $20, walk back. And I would just do this. I put on an audiobook. I would just do this for like 10 hours, just back and forth, back. Listen, all right, listen. And at the end of the day, I'd have like $50,000. I'd buy all the fucking guns. I'd buy like the attack helicopter, and you needed $1,000 to reload ammo on it, but I'd have 100K in the bank. And it would take one day of prep, of like mind numbing prep. And then I'd like save it. I'd go to bed and wake up the next day. And you could just run a fucking train on the campaign, even on hard, because you're in this game that like you're supposed to be using a bow and arrow and like a broken bottle as a weapon, and I'm going around like an Apache helicopter with like incendiary explosive rounds, just like raining hell, like parachuting out, using thermal vision, IR scopes, javelin missiles that come back down and like break up into cluster bombs. And to me, there was a takeaway from that. And it's like if you just do the monotonizing prep, which to anyone that can't see the big picture looks like you're insane, you're just killing cows. I saw the look you gave me earlier. But if you know what you're doing, to you, it's just like it's a righteous grind because you're like, this is going to be so worth it tomorrow. And that's kind of how I view like my entire journey on this podcast is I'm like, I'm old and that I'm not 18, but I'm also only 32. I'm like, dude, I've been at this for 3 years. If I put in like another three, maybe I'll hit 35. Maybe the podcast cashes out. And then I'm free to be like, what do I want to do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for that rant, but like that is like what I've like I had, and there's like a million examples of that, like that I've learned in not from a professor, not from a wise old sage who told me a tale, but instead just like slaughtering cows and hillbillies in Far Cry 5 has taught me that life lesson.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, I wasn't criticizing. I was gonna say, I imagine that's what, Bezos and Musk did. Like they just that's what they were doing, but in real life, they're sitting there
Yeah.
grinding slowly until you build up the money and
And then
then
you
like you,
run a train on the world.
yep, and do whatever you want. I would say for me, the lesson I've been playing a lot of Halo over the last, I would say, year or so, ever since Infinite dropped. And the lesson that I really learned, because like of course I played Halo casually and like did FPSs, but like this is the first time that I really like sat down and thought about what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's there was like I had like a philosophy aha moment because like when you play enough Halo, you know when to get like you're in a situation, when to push, when to fall back, when to
Hmm.
rotate back to your team. You look at your loadout, you look at your bad guys loadout, you look at your teammates loadout, and just understanding like that the importance of situational awareness to like observe a situation and then from there to be able to quickly calculate, okay, how hard do I need to push? Do I need to push? Do I need to pull back? For me, like that was kind of like a philosophy, like aha moment. It's like, oh man, I wish I had known this when I was, 17, 18 and just aggressive about everything. And it's like, no, 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 back down.
Yeah.
Or in moments where it's like, I would like, as an adult, I have a better sense of like when to push and when to kind of fall back and retreat. And I definitely wish that I had that sense when I was younger because that could have, I think it would have I still would have gone through some of the same things. I would just would have been able to get through them quicker. Now, I did have a question for you,
Sure.
and this is one that I ask myself constantly, but like say you could new game plus your life. So you get to at the end of your life, you get to relive with all your stats, attributes, all the knowledge you've gained. You get to run your life back one more time. What do you make different?
So that's one thing I actually used to think about a lot
Hmm.
when I was like pre-med. I was like, God, if I had just known just 10 years prior. And in many ways, I think I actually am getting to do it. Right. So like moved home to my parents' house in 2016. Right. Like lost a girlfriend, lost all my friends. Really just went almost back to like pluripotent stem cell. Just had I didn't have any debts from school. I didn't have any kids. I don't have any like divorced wife. I didn't have any like job tied down. It was just like I can do whatever I want. No, I'm not 18, but in the same way, when you're 22 and you're like, oh, I'm old now. I'm not 18. And then now that I'm 32, I look back at a 22-year-old that's like, I'm an old man. I'm like, you're still like a frat boy shithead. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh yeah, wait till you turn 42. You're gonna be like, oh
Well, but that's the revelation I had was like, all
yeah.
right. So I moved out of my parents' house last April, 2021, at 30.5 years old,
Mm.
with no debts, no pets, no girlfriend, no wife, no real friends, no job requirements other than I'm building my own thing. 30.5. Now I'm 32. And I was like, I feel old. If I told a 40-year-old I feel old, they'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
So in many ways, it dawned on me that like I was actually getting to do what I had always, and I had actually talked to another friend about this, and we both agreed if you could do anything in life, it would be a new game plus, where it
Oh
started over
hell
there.
yeah.
But so I look at it, I'm like, okay, not perfectly. A new game plus would be 18 with all this knowledge, but I'm like 30, fuck it, I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've been thinking about like what would I do? I am doing exactly what I would do. I would look at like the meta of the game, kill all the cows. I need to get the money. Right now, I'm like, I need to get money. I would work like a man possessed. And like you talked about, I start to look at time and or life in bigger chunks of time. Now I'm like, don't look at it like, oh, that's 6 months from now. Just just eat the dick sandwich. Acknowledge that I probably still got another 1,000 episodes I got to pound out. It's
Mhm.
it's going to be a slog. What am I going to do in that time? All right. Well, if I'm just working most hours of the day, well, I've been working out like a one thing I always thought I was like, well, I guess I would just work out all the time. That's all I've done this year. I've lost about 20 pounds of fat and put on about 15 pounds of muscle. Like
Yeah, you are
all I've
looking a
been
little,
doing this
yeah.
year is just going
Oh,
like a fucking machine.
oh
I've
my
been
God.
I've
Yeah.
been saving more money than I've ever saved in my life because I'm not blowing this on like, a Friday night at UGA. Like I'm not like, oh, like, just doing anything to go get laid. I'm like, all I'm doing is working. So I'm just siphoning off an absurd like 30 or 40% of my income I'm being able to put away, which I've never been able to do.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And like I'm like shifting. Next month. I'm moving back up to New England to be like closer to family. Because one thing I thought, lost a brother in 2014. I'm like, I wish I had been more aware that this is all fleeting. And so now I'm like, I'm in the new game plus. I don't know when I think my parents are going to be here for another 25 years. Maybe not. So like I just like grabbed life by the balls. I'm moving to New England. I still have 3 months left to rent here, but I've put away enough of the dead calves, the money that I'm like, I can eat a 3 month rent charge and move up to New England. Like, well, I can kind of go wherever I want. So like I got myself like a dope apartment. Then I was like, why don't I get a separate room for like the studio? So I got myself like a dope, cool 2 room apartment. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, why don't I find like a cool place like downtown? Like, yeah, I'll spend a little money on that. Why not? And I'm doing exactly what I imagined I would do. I would choose the goal and I would just grind towards it.
Mm.
Whereas pre-med, I was always grinding towards it, but also going, should I be living life? Should I be partying? And then I did 2 years that after college and I became miserable. Now I don't have any of those illusions of like, I wonder what and I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, the bliss comes from the pursuit. So to answer your question, what would I do? I would choose a goal. I'd choose a goal that led to freedom above all else.
Hmm.
You're going to work no matter what. Might as well work towards your freedom. I would accept that it's going to be a grind. It's gonna be 3, 5, 10 years. I would do the grind. And if this is all you're doing anyway, I would mechanize the process. So instead of doing one podcast a day, instead I tear through like a 30-hour audiobook a week. I do like 10 episodes a week. What else am I doing? Might as well work out. If I'm doing nothing else, if I'm sitting at home and working from my bedroom, might as well diet, might as well get abs. Like, why not? I can't
Mhm.
make life harder. No one's ever in life been like, well, fuck, I wish I had a belly too. Like, as someone that got really fat after my brother died, no, 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 no. Doesn't matter where you are. Life's always easier if you're just a little thinner. I'm doing
True.
exactly what I would do. Is
Mhm.
I'm grinding towards a goal of freedom. I'm mechanizing the process. I'm not I'm not complaining. I know it's a slog. I know I'm probably about 25% of the way up the mountain. Head down, as Elon Musk would say, head down, plow through the line. Or as Bezos would say, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Got my eyes on the summit. Just keep going. Just keep going. And what I would take away from earlier in life is it's also just remember that it can also all be gone tomorrow. And I'm fine with me dying. I'm at peace. I'm doing what I love. I regret nothing. That's why I'm moving closer home. I'm like, just remember, like I can attest that sometimes you do just lose somebody.
Yeah.
So I know that was like a 10-minute answer to your question, but it is something I think about all the time. Yeah, I'm doing the new game plus.
Okay. Yeah.
You're you're doing it too though.
I am doing the new game plus, and again, for me, it's just because part of when I look at everything that's happened, part of the reason why I even got in the situation to begin with was because I refused to back down and say, wait, whoa, this is not a good situation.
Yeah.
It's four of them and they got rocket launchers and I got
Just restart the level. Just
yeah,
trust me. Like you're like take the loss.
yeah, it's like, all right, bro, like I don't need to I don't need to rush in there, with my pistol and they got
Yeah.
rockets. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. So but I'm definitely that's kind of the stage that I'm at now is like really learning to assess and calculate and be more tactical, but then be more efficient with how I move because I would either be, I guess, if I would say, and this is such an engineer answer, but like I just feel like the earlier, like I would say, okay, we're about a third, hopefully a third of the way through our lives, right? So the first third I felt was like really like I had lots of energy, but I was also really inefficient with how I distributed that energy.
Tutorial.
Yeah. Tutorial. So now it's like, all right, I'm starting to understand the mechanics, the mechanisms, like the attributes of the game, the stats, like my character build. So now I can take advantage of that to do some really cool stuff. Cause at the beginning, you think you're doing cool stuff, but then yeah.
Well, it's like right. It's like a fucking video. First time you tear through Ghost Recon, you're like figuring out. You're like upgrading weapons, and then you find a better weapon, so you throw away that old weapon, and it's like you just spent like $5,000 upgrading like an M16, and then you go and find some fucking like futuristic like AUG 34. You go through
Yeah.
and you play a second time, and you're still collecting all the skill points and all the money. But even like Breakpoint, which I'd never played, I've never gone through it all. I've been playing it for the last like 4 nights, just going through the countryside, like scouring parts, getting points and money and whatever. But even though I hadn't played this game before, there's still part of me that I can start to tell is like, wait until you find a good weapon. And I finally found like a 50 cal like silence last night. And I was like, I don't even know what other weapons there are. There probably are a couple better than this, but I was like one shot in guys at like 400 meters. And I was like, okay, this isn't, get rid of the rest, paint this bitch like matte black, and just, it's like Mark III. Everything is increased damage, accuracy, everything. But I'm still not there with a pistol. So I still got a shit pistol. But even little things like that, it's like, don't go buying every skill point. Wait until, I'm like, I don't need to know how to craft this. I'm like, I need to know how to like do stealth movements and like hold my breath when I'm sniping.
Hmm.
Kind of, I think you said it perfectly. You're full of energy, but it's also inefficient. It's like an early, like it's like an early engine. It's like, dude, you're getting like 2 miles to the gallon.
I know,
And
but it's like,
but you're like,
yeah.
but I got 1,000 gallons, and you're like, well, you do. You are 18 versus like, yo, let's build some like ultra efficient thing with regenerative braking and like aerodynamics, get like
Right.
500 miles a gallon. Yeah, sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, no, no,
I'm
you're
getting
good, man.
excited.
But I mean, that I think, and you know what? I remember my grandpa and I talked about this one time because he's like, and he was like a basketball player back in the day, and he's like, yeah, man, look, when you're young, you just gonna tear through the hole as fast as you can. You got all the energy. You don't give a fuck. You're just gonna do what you want to do. He's like, but when you get older, you start to realize, like, he's like, look at older players and look at the way that they play the game. Like, it's beautiful. It's streamlined. They understand where
Silky.
things are. It's effortless. It's just, and I think that's the conventional wisdom that comes with age. You start to see, like, oh, well, I don't need to drop 5,000 credits or dollars on this gun because there's a better one further down
Yeah.
in the game. So just wait for that one. Or it's like, oh, well, you think you want this attribute in your weapon, but in reality, you have this class. So the play style that you want, you're actually going to want to bump up this attribute over here. So, I mean, and I think it's all I mean, I would be very curious to like talk to somebody who, let's say, like at the level of like a Bill Gates or a Elon Musk. Like, do they still remember their slog climbing up the mountain days,
That's a good point.
or is it like? I mean, I know at one point in time, I know at one point in time they did,
Sure.
but it's like,
That is a good point, right?
yeah,
Because like fresh out of it, they'd probably be able to like dole out all the advice. But they're at a point now where like they've been beyond wealthy for like 2 decades. I mean, you can find videos in like early 2003 where like Elon Musk is having like a DeLorean delivered to his house. And it's like, oh, you've been in this reality for so long. You almost have to wonder, like, do they lose that wisdom? Or have they reached a new tier, like a new cruising altitude? And it's like, oh, there's a whole different set of wisdom, right? It's like you can't just keep flying a jet engine higher. Like the X-15, it's like, no, it fuck wings. It has to have thrusters because there's no air. Like
yeah,
it's an entirely different, and like a conventional pilot might be like, no, you're forgetting how to fly. And it's like, dude, the rule, you're in zero gravity. Like you're
like
not
it's
thinking about
yeah.
pitch and yaw. Like you're using the gas thrusters, right?
Mhm.
You almost have to wonder, like, is it almost like speciation? Like, have they like left this chain? Like, we can't imagine what it would be like to have 100 billion. Like, do they look at things now and where you and I are like, take care of your body? Is there like a whole other level of just like, no, 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 just buy stem cell regeneration? Like, those players in games that are just so far ahead, you
Yeah,
see them doing moves and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? They're like, shoot at those windows now. And you're like, why? And they're like, because in 9 hours, a helicopter's going to be there and you don't want to waste ammo. You're like, huh? Like,
how did you know?
I have a
Yeah,
friend like that who fucking he'll play video games. He'll be like a level will start and he'll like run up to doors and start bashing them in. I'll be like, what are you doing? I think their enemies are coming that way. And he's like, trust me, in like an hour, they're gonna be circling here because once we block this off, they're gonna come over there, and then they're gonna want to come through here, and we're gonna want to be. And I'm like, uh,
yeah.
okay, that's a good question. Have they just detached, or is there like a whole other realm of wisdom?
I think, I mean, honestly, I think like it's probably the latter where they're on a whole nother level and it's just hard. Like, I won't say it's hard. Like, I'm sure they could dole out the advice, but it's just when you're playing, I don't know, when you're playing the game in hard mode, like you forget how to explain simpler concepts. Like
Yeah,
if like,
that is true.
or you, how do I describe this? Because like, all right, this happens all the time. This used to happen when I would tutor like Spanish in college because like I had been speaking Spanish so long. There's just some things I couldn't tell you why you do it. I just know that's what you do, and they're like, but wait, why do you do blah instead of blah? I'm like,
Oh,
shit, I don't know. Like
because
that's what it is.
yeah,
And so I feel like that might be the stage that like I feel like that might be the stage that you could get into when you start reaching those higher levels. But then I think it's important that as you're progressing along the chain, you always kind of document what you did, or like, so that way you can look back and be like, oh, yeah, well, like, we're at right now we're climbing to about, let's say, okay, conventional planes do 30,000. We're probably up at like 50,000. We're starting to get next to like the U2 and whatnot. But so we can remember what it was like at 30,000. But I imagine if you're getting an X 15 15 territory, that's a whole new set of that's a whole new ball game
Yeah.
that's a whole new set of rules. Sorry, I can't English
No,
today.
no. Yeah, you're maybe not remembering how to like
Right.
take off.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you just don't. What do you mean? Like, what speed do you? What do you mean take off on a runway? I use a launch pad. Like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. Yeah, I remember it was like taking like cellular biology and like getting points docked because like I didn't use like significant figures. And I'm like, what are we doing here? We're worried about that I put 7 instead of 8, 9 decimal points. The entire thing is like, do you know how like a proteinaceous proton pump works? Like it is like a sort of I think I don't know. I wonder. I feel like if you just took the money and sat around, you'd maybe become rusty and detached, and any advice you did remember would be outdated.
Mhm.
Like what you got to do is make an AOL account, and it's like what the fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like they're pushing. Bezos and Musk are constantly pushing. I would imagine it's probably more that yeah, like they are so far ahead that they're not worried about like deploy your flaps. It's like they're pulling Charlie Duke shit. They're like, "Hey, remember to have like your oxygen pack running when you're on the far side of the goddamn moon." Like, you're not
Yeah,
worried about like the Wright Flyer has 4 horsepower, and it's like, dude, that's some F-16 bullshit. Like, you're on the moon.
yeah, it's a whole new ball game, but I mean, still, I think that there's definitely value, like, there's still value in the perspective that you can get. Like, I'm sure somebody on the moon could still tell you a little something about flying. It's just it's a whole new set of problems, and so and that might seem you might seem like a little detached, but I don't know, man. That's again like, and to be honest, like not every plane is designed to go to the moon. We might hit 55,000 and just chill there, and that's it, and it's all
And that
good. Like,
and that's also cool. Like, you
yeah.
might just wanna be a flight instructor, or you might just wanna fly commercial airplanes, and that's the other thing is, like, there are levels of fulfillment. Like, you and I are we kinda have that obsessive, some would say, like, borderline deranged personality, where we're looking at things as like, "Yeah, no, where will this" yeah, I don't even I'm not even looking at, like, the end of the podcast. I'm like, "Where will I be in 2050? How can I
Mhm.
change the world?" Someone else might not because someone else doesn't go that far doesn't mean that, like, they didn't you can see in my own language, it doesn't mean that they didn't go that far. It means that I went on to do this, but someone else might be like, "I'm a father, and I'm present at every soccer game." That is, I would argue, more important than anything I'm doing.
Mhm.
If you can be a father figure or a mother figure to someone. Yeah, like, so that is another thing to remember is like, yeah, I don't know. Bezos, like, they might have also hit a point where, like, they're still working, but maybe they're really trying to be a better dad now. And we might be like, "That's weird. I wonder what tactic that is for their business." They're like, "Dude, they've got 12 digits in their bank account. They're probably like, hey, like, let's make sure to raise these kids right, right?" And we're looking
Yeah.
at it like, what do they mean by I show up to soccer games? What how does that affecting the stock price? And they might be like, what? I'm just I'm just dressing up as Santa on Christmas. Like I'm just being a good dad.
Yeah. Like, I mean, again, I think, and part of, I guess, the journey that everybody has is figuring out what's your path and like accepting that. Like, I have friends who have more conventional lives than I did, or that I do, or than I do. And, they're as happy as can be. And that's awesome. Like, but I imagine if they lived the way that I lived while I was, going through school or whatever, or just, for some people, it's like, I don't want to take all those risks. I just want to go like your friend, do a 9 to 5 and then unplug and be done.
That's
Like,
fine.
actually, when I think about it, my mom is like that because my mom has always been ridiculously smart. and she works for Edward Jones, has been there for like 20 years. And she literally told me, like, yeah, I could have climbed the corporate ladder if I wanted to, but I didn't. Like, she's like, I wanted to be at home with my family.
Yeah.
She basically like, no, fuck all that. I
Yeah,
want to be the best mom ever. I was like, respect.
my mom's a nurse. She's brilliant. And after she had, I think, the first one, she was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And then after she raised all four of us, she like went back and got like recertified and just became a nurse again. Could have always done it, but it was just it's a different path.
Right.
Um, so in terms of like the learning the lessons along the way, there is like a even if you're someplace that is alien to where you began, like you're not looking at it now of like, oh, do I have the grip on my rifle? You're more of like quick scan, they got rocket launchers, I got a plasma gun. You're like, we can't do this, and if we do this, we need cover, and we're not at the altitude to. You're looking at it in such an alien way. That being said, there is still like a meta to like, how do you learn? Okay, sure, maybe the X-15 pilot can't give advice to like the guy in like the T6 trainer, but what you can do is give like advice on how to learn.
Hmm.
Whether you're training a new X-15 pilot or a kid on a bike with training wheels, there is still like a meta to that. Like, oh, okay, go into it, and the first time it's just gonna suck. If you gave me a game that I had never played before that I know nothing about, like what would you do right now? And I was like, you have like a week to play it. The first night, I'd probably just start like going in one. I'd probably put a waypoint on the furthest point in the map and be like, the first night, I'm just gonna learn like where the fuck are we?
Hmm.
What do we have? Is this Ghost Recon where we have like the best guns Delta Force can buy, or is this more of like a survival game where I have like a rusted AK? Okay, like is there abundance, or is this something more like you have to find every ration you use? You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and tomorrow you're gonna be looking back and saying, "I wish I knew this," but you don't know that. So right now, just go in and learn it all. Find the boundary. Literally, like how far does the map go? What's the health meter like? How many hits can you take? What's the stealth like? Like, okay. The next day would be like, now you figured some of it out. Find the things that did work. All right, there's a ton of ammo, so ammo's not short.
Hmm.
Probably want to find a silencer and a scope. Okay. That and be like, it's good to not stay on the roads. All right. And by like the third day, it would be like, now you've got this system down on how to eliminate enemies or good people and take their resources. It's a video game. Fuck off. Maybe now start to look at the big picture. What's actually going on? What is the plot? Is there a warlord? Is there a dictatorship that you're fighting against? Are you trying to build up and become the warlord? Okay. And start moving in that direction. And then on day four, it's kind of like, well, you've got the picture, you've got the layout of the map, and you have your mechanism to vanquish enemies. I don't know. Go now. You just got to go beat the game. Like that's. We'll wrap it up on this. Well, like, what would you do? You have 7 days. You don't have an infinite amount of time. That's your life. You have 7 days. New video game. What would you do?
See, a little bit of what you did. Like, I am a do stuff. I am a shoot first and then ask a lot of questions after you shoot kind of person. So, like, I probably would have just cut the game off and been like, all right, let's do it. Ran through, got my ass whooped, whatever. But then that night, after I turned the game off, I'd have been thinking about it. And when I had downtime, I would have been reading about it. Like I am a studier kind of person. So like I like even with Deep Rock Galactic, like I have been reading about that obsessively because I'm like, oh, okay, like, oh, I want to do this next time, or oh, this is what so and so does. I live on like Reddit threads about this game, and I'm like seeing what everybody else builds, and then I'm trying those builds out, then being like, I didn't really like that, so let me change this here, and I'm developing my own style. So I think again, similar to like the whole point though is the acquisition of knowledge. Like, how do you learn new things? How do you go from I don't know shit to I am the expert in this? And I think what sets aside, like, you know, what sets aside kind of the nobodies, and I hate to use that term because everybody is somebody, but what kind
Sure.
of sets aside like the regular people from like the super users is that the super users spend a lot of time reading about it. No, they spend a little bit of time doing it and then a lot of time reading about what they were doing or trying to understand what they were doing. And I think it's that level of understanding. It's like, how do you, like the question, like, how do you learn something? How do you become an expert? It's being willing to go through that process because a lot of people aren't. I know I didn't realize that this was a thing until I had met my wife, and it kind of dawned on me because she's just one of those people that's like good at everything. And so when she comes across like skills that she can't instantly grasp, she's like, okay, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Like,
Hmm.
and she's like, I don't like being new at stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting because with me, I was not really good at a lot of things coming out. So I just had to learn how to get good at stuff. Like, I had to learn just to suck at it and be okay at sucking at things and then learning to like climb through the suck. So,
That's interesting. You gotta wonder if you got to go through life like her, is there like a logic to that game plan where they just glide through things and there's probably like a meta to that where they don't have to worry about acquiring guns, they just always have them, so they learn how to shoot so that if they do come across a game where it's like, "You gotta learn how to build the gun," they're probably, "Fuck this game. I'm gonna get more done if I just go do something that I'm good."
yes, it is
There's probably a meta to that, yeah.
there's definitely a meta to that. You know, I saw this on it was Reddit the other day where what is it called? Your like the D&D personality traits like neutral good, chaotic.
Chaotic good. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Basically it said to play with it when dealing with life, play within your character trait.
Ah, okay.
Like if you are a chaotic good, or if you're a chaotic evil, be a chaotic evil. Donald Trump is an asshole, but he gets what he wants. He's a chaotic evil. Like
Play your position.
play the position that you were built to play. Otherwise, like the conflict comes from when you try to, play outside of your class.
That's the inefficiency.
Right. That's and so like somebody like my wife who she's like, hey, look, I'm really good at these things. If I stay to these things, I can get ridiculously good at them. Cause she also the things that she's good at, she's
She's the best.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like world class almost. And I'm like, how are you this like how? But then if she tried to live like me, where I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna suck at it, but it's okay, I'll figure it out eventually, it causes an internal conflict. And then the same
Mm,
thing if I try to live like her. I mean, if I tried to act like I was Donald Trump, like I would feel miserable. But for
yeah,
some people, no,
that's their cup of
yeah,
tea.
yeah, you take what you want, grab
Just
grab it.
grab it by the pussy.
Yeah.
No, there are like every once in a while I'll try to play like a game with like my friends who are like much better at games and they're experts. And I call it the hangover gun. And I haven't drank in a minute, but like I remember one day we were playing a Sandstorm Insurgency. And they were also good at like just from like decades of playing like whatever the fuck they've been playing, like CS:GO or Halo or they have all got just the tactics of room clearing, which I don't have.
Mhm,
I don't have. I'm much better at just going solo, like and kind of doing weird surgical stuff. Whereas they got the whole like, covering windows, covering each other's backs, just reload, move, and like I can't flow like that. They
mhm,
all can. And one day I was super hungover and I was just like, I got like a 200 round like drum, like just put the laser on it and like laid outside and was like, I can just cover the horizon. I was like, I can't, I'm so fucking hungover. And it was just like, and like, I just did well at that. And then to the point where like they never used the LMG because they were always like high speed clearing to the point where like I actually started to get a little better at because there are some tactics. You're like, oh, do like a 3 round burst here. This is just all out dump the mag or dump the drum.
mhm.
Sometimes you just need to fire one or two just to get guys to like come out of cover. Like you do start to, and to me, that was like play your position. I'm not. These guys have, I mean, literal thousands of hours on these games, and I've got 10. I'm not clearing the room and fucking doing like the wrist like flicking where like headshot between the eyes. I need to be able to see you from a quarter mile away and have a half a thousand rounds at my disposal to hit you. And if anything, I am just a canary in the coal mine. When they hear me dumping, they're like, if they just hear like brr, brr, they know I'm just kind of keeping the horizon down. I'm keeping our surroundings clean.
Mhm.
But if they hear me start to just nonstop, they know to start checking their shoulder because we're probably getting overrun. Play your position. Just
Yeah.
just play your position.
Play, and I mean, that's the thing, like, I hate to sound like super new age, but we all are kind of born with gifts and talents and things that
Sure.
we like exceed in. Everybody's special. Everybody's
You're special. No, but really like
yeah,
but that comes down to the efficiency thing. And that's like kind of comes back to like the laying out the map of the game is you learn very early on that like this is a finite life. The map is Earth. We're expanding that map, but for your maybe not you, you probably will go. But for me, it's like it's Earth. It's probably going to remain two-dimensional or two, three, whatever the fuck. And there's X amount of time. Okay. So it's kind of, that is the video game. It's like you have X amount. If you have an infinite amount of time, well, go spend 10,000 hours and become the best room clearer because you have an infinite. But I don't. They've been doing this since they were 10. We're in our 30s now. I'm not going to spend another 20 years just to be able to keep up with them on a
right,
nightly gaming session. I'm not. You have, it's a finite amount of time. So you can't grind forever. And yeah, I think you said it best. It's okay to like not do something efficiently, but also acknowledge that you're going to get internal grinding of the gears, which itself can kind of bleed out. So if
right,
I go try to clear rooms with them, it's going to very quickly turn from like, I can't keep up to like, I don't even want to play this game. This isn't fun. Fuck you.
right. And I mean, like, honestly, to like, I just had a moment of like connecting the dots, but like, that's how med school versus doing space stuff was for me. My class was to be this nerdy space guy. Like, that is what I was built for. It is
Yeah.
if I look, I can show you shit from when I was like 5, and it's like matter of fact, I'm about to pull this shit out right now.
Good.
No, that's not it. Where is it? Was it 2012? Yeah, it was 2012. I can show you. I can show you shit from when I was 5. Like this
Yeah.
is you.
Literally.
That's that's me. Like that's how old I was. I can't even write my damn name. But and that's my class. But then I tried to play another class, and it caused an internal grinding of the gears. And it took me the better part of almost 10 years to kind of restack my attributes. But now I'm like, I'm back in my class, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Smooth.
It's it doesn't mean it's not work, but it's like it's more efficient work.
It
And
is.
that's yeah,
It's watching Kobe or like Larry Bird. Like they're not the
right.
young spry guys, but you see them just waltzing down the court, and they're like they know what's happening.
Hmm.
They don't need to expend all the energy. Now that's what it comes down to. It's like if you're okay with the grinding of the gears, go for it. And if something is really worth it, you will grind the gears and, like you said, kind of restack your attributes. Not being a med student and then going into like the creative space. That was several years of like grinding the gears. Now I feel like I'm more like in my groove. It's still work.
Hmm.
And again, the internal grinding is fine. However, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So you can't talk about, I'm trying to be this new thing and I'm also having like marriage problems. And it's like, well, the grinding of the gears is surprise spilling out to those around you and you're being a dick. Like you're not as fun to watch a movie with. Versus like now I feel much more in my element. Like I could
Yes.
not go on a date in college. Like I that looking back on them, they were like movie worthy cringe because I was just always thinking about like I can't. They're like no, it's like the hottest girl in the world would be like. In hindsight, I'm like, oh, this girl who's an absolute dime was like trying to like drink with me in the pool next to our apartment at 2 a.m. Wink, wink. But in my mind, I'm like, you can't drink on a Friday night. I got an OChem test Monday. Like, what the fuck are you? Tell that girl later. And then you're
bro.
all surprised when you're like, how come she doesn't like me and she's not texting me back? And it's like, I don't know, retard. And that's fine if you really want to go be a doctor. But like, I wanted more than that. And like,
Yeah,
I'm in my groove now and I love what I'm doing now. But I also, it's not I'm not trying to put a square peg into a circle. It's still a lot of work, but it's much more like
it fits. Yeah.
smooth, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
just
you,
smooth.
what you said is so true because I mean, even my wife, like, I think with the other day, she was like, "Yeah, you are so much more pleasant to be around," and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, because the conflict has been resolved, the internal conflict, like the gear now meshes, it's smooth, like the gear is still doing work, but there's
It's
no longer like the.
You're not losing it all through like heat and you're like, oh, it's running at like maximum efficiency.
Uh, I wouldn't even say I think the engine is still spooling up and like it'll hit that point of the curve eventually, but it's just when you and again when I saw that comment on Reddit, that was like one of those like shit, I wish I had read this
Play
10
your
years ago kind of
position,
go. Yeah,
play your class.
play to your class. Like if you are a if you're a tank, be a tank. If you're a rogue, be a rogue. If you're a mage, be a mage. Like
Yeah. Yeah, like I've always been able to talk people's ear off. Yeah, it took 29 years to be like, hey, dipshit, maybe it's this.
exactly. Yeah. It's like and it's so funny too, because then like, what you said earlier is so true. Like you just I remember like when I was younger, like having a lot of conflicts with dating because again, look at me. There is nothing that says like,
Beautiful.
yeah, I mean, yeah, look, I mean, yeah. But there's nothing about me that says like, douchey dick kind of guy. But I tried to be that guy and I never played to my class. But then when I started playing to my class, boom, married.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's just it
yeah.
was just like shoot the ball three, like just straight in there, like
All
no
throughout
problem.
high school, I'd always try to be like, you got to play cool, you got to play uninterested. Once I
Exactly.
finally just acknowledged I was like a pre-med loser. Now, granted, like I just said, I didn't know how to like close the deal because I was too wrapped up in my own head. But you just be who you are. Yeah.
And it's so funny because like the concept of be who you are, that's like been life advice for 3,000 years. Like, but it's the
But you,
most important. Yeah.
but the funny thing is you still have to like grind through everything but that through like process of elimination before you finally like it sounds silly, but it kind of does take 3 decades to finally go, oh, just be who you are and do the thing you want to do. Like that's all you got. And it's like, I know it sounds silly, but really just be who you are and go do what you want to do.
Yeah. And it won't be conflict free in the sense of like you being who you are will always there will always be a hill to climb with that. Like it's never you're going to be completely downhill, you'll never have issues. But like even one of my friends, he is who he is. Sometimes he says really dumb stuff, but damn it, that's who he is and he sticks to his guns and I respect that
Yeah.
because a lot of times like you want to change, you're like, "Oh no, I don't know if this is a good thing to do." But there is something to be admired for people who are just relentlessly who they are. Like that's why Kobe Bryant could be the asshole that he was and still be
He's fucking Kobe.
a legend. He was who he was.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I've kept you 30 minutes longer than I said I would. So,
All good,
well,
homie.
well, I guess we'll kind of wrap it up on this. So what advice would we give to, or what predictions would we give to ourselves in 2 more years? Like, will we be looking back and saying, yeah, no, those guys fucking knew what they were talking about? Or I don't even really know what I'm trying to
I
ask.
think I know what you're saying. I think I got you.
Can we practice what we preach?
Yeah, I think I think in 2 more years, we'll be looking back and it'll be like, "Oh, at this point, you were just starting to get it, but bro, you think the door is open
Oh,
now? It
you
ain't."
guys thought you were at cruising altitude. Oh, look at us, we're at the moon. Bitch, we developed an interstellar drive. You're on Alpha Centauri.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cute. We on the moon in Alpha Centauri.
Oh, though, yeah, you're on a moon in Alpha Centauri. So do you think it will be, we'll look back and be like, no, you were accurate for where you were?
Yeah. I think it's a I would say that I think
Oh,
over time your awareness grows, but then as your awareness grows, like because I can look at decisions that I made when I was 18 and be like, oh, that was a dumb decision, but I can see why I made it. I could only see this much of the field. Now that I'm 32, I can see triple the viewing angle. And I imagine that like as time goes on, that's the way we'll feel. We're like we'll be looking back and we'll be like, okay, yeah, you were starting to get it, but like there was still a lot that you had to learn. And it's always, I guess, keeping that mentality of there's always something new to learn. There's always something more. It's just, are you going to choose to pursue it? Like that's what
mm.
I really hope like in a few years we'll be like, you're starting, the door is starting to open, but trust me, it's you
It's
ain't
not,
seen.
it's not just a door. You open up a door into like a new building.
Yeah.
There's a whole fucking other like universe.
Hmm.
I like and don't like that answer. Part of me is like, I would like us to look back and go like, I'm so happy you guys figured it out, and then you just did the legwork, right? You figured it out. What's the quote? 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. But it's also kind of interesting to think like in 2 years, because right now I'm looking back at us 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, you sweet summer children, keep working, you'll get there.
Yeah, and I mean, because I mean, I bet you, Bill Gates looks at himself
Sure.
and he's like, "Oh, you thought that was cute when you were like,
Oh, you thought you had it figured out.
yeah, you thought when you were doing monopolies and shit back in the 80s and 90s. Oh, you
Oh,
didn't
that was
know."
old school, man. No, now you just buy off Congress members. You read. Don't play the chess game. Fucking buy off the chess manufacturer.
Yeah,
That's what I like that because that is kind of like nervousness inducing. The idea that in like 2 years you're gonna be looking back and be like, no, I mean, you knew where you were for where you were. Like when you hear that, you're almost like, wait, what do you mean? I thought we've just done a 90 minutes of patting each other on the back, saying how much we figured out. What I don't. What don't we know? What do you mean?
yeah. Now, I will say that is one thing that I'm really learning, that it's starting to click in my mind that things aren't there are few things that are actually mutually exclusive. So you saying I've learned so much does not imply that you think there isn't more to learn. You're just saying
Oh,
I've seen so much of it. Like I've seen all these things. I'm also aware that like I'm probably only looking at 2% of the field, but still to me it's a lot of information coming in because it's 10 times what I saw a few years ago. So I think that's the mentality that I try to keep. Like, you haven't seen it all, you haven't done it all. Like you've seen more and you've done more. So that allows you to move through
so
things faster. Yeah.
you're getting your mojo, like you're getting confident, which is good. That is a weapon. Just be able to be confident that allows you to kind of like push in places where maybe you shouldn't be pushing, but because you push it so confidently, you actually win. That makes me think, is is death graduation? I sometimes I think like, what if it's not all random? What if like there was a set amount of wisdom you had to learn and then you've maxed out of this game? And it's like, all right, you've passed the tutorial, and now we're taking you to X15 school. To everyone else, they're like, yeah, he finished and he's left. He's not here at 737 school anymore. Is there just like another, or is that like what it's like being a grandparent? Are you just like a wise old person? Or are you just kind of like looking at everyone like just joyfully watching them learn?
I think it's a little bit of both. I feel like, uh, first of all, if you ever read this book, Journey of Souls, Michael Newton, it's a very interesting read. The premise of it is this guy is like a hypnotherapist and he like hypnotizes these people and apparently he hypnotizes them and he's trying to like he regresses them back because I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place, but it's about the concept of like, well, your soul lives many lives. And so each time you come back, you come to learn a lesson, and then you go back up, you pick a new lesson, and you keep on incarnating over and over again until you finally, I guess, reach you
Like
reunite with the soul.
wholeness. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what you said reminded me of that, where it's like maybe you come, and I still don't know internally how I feel about it. It's just a very interesting read because it's like, oh, I could see a system like that working. But the premise is that he hypnotized all these people and they described different people in different times described similar experiences with like after they died, like what happened, how they like they they stayed around for a bit, watched their funeral, then they went back up to like their soul families and then planned their next lives and then came back. So if if that's the case, then like maybe the goal, I guess the way I would envision it is like it's like when I come up from scuba diving where it's like I'm coming up the ladder and I'm like the first thing it's like I'm like out of breath because I'm like trying I'm like shocked because I just went from being underwater for an hour to being back on land. And then the first words are like, "Whew, that was awesome." And then you have to wait a while and then you plan to go back in again. So maybe that's what it's like. But when you say his death graduation, like maybe it's one of those things where it's just you've learned this lesson in this life, and now you take it and you import that knowledge or part of that knowledge into your next life.
So it's not graduation, it's the end of a semester.
Well, it's graduation from like, okay, yeah, end of a semester.
You
Yeah,
you
yeah,
you mastered OChem 1, you're like, "Cool, cool, cool, cool." And now we gotta go learn genetics. You have, like, a couple weeks off. I would imagine it's probably something like that.
yeah. Like it was one of those books that like when it was just I was so curious about the concept, and it's like it makes me think like it makes a lot of sense to me.
I mean, I can see it in my own life. Like, there are lessons I learned in middle school, in high school, in college, after college, and now this. Why wouldn't it continue? Like, why wouldn't it? I mean, that is the premise of what you and I are talking about. Like, the core theme of our life is just mastery. All right, finished. Next. And like, that is bliss. What else would you do for eternity? You would just play in the sandbox forever. That doesn't
Yeah.
seem that bad then.
Yeah. Like I would highly the audiobook is good because that's what I listened to the audiobook, but I'd highly recommend it. It's one of those like
I like
it'll
it.
make you think. Yeah, it's definitely a banger to read.
No, I like that. I've had on Dr. Eben Alexander before, who wrote the book Proof of Heaven. He's the Harvard neurosurgeon that went to like a coma for like a week and wasn't supposed to live and came back. But that's his whole that's like what he's like gathered after like a decade is you go into this life like you go into a college course and you're here to learn something. And like it's a tough pill to swallow because that means that I went into a life where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna lose a brother to suicide, and then I'm gonna get to suicide myself, but I'm gonna decide not to, and I'm gonna get into medical school and then decide I don't want to do that, and now I'm gonna do this. That's a tough pill to swallow because you're like all of my traumas, all of my. It's like you kind of chose that, but I am learning some. I still don't know what it is I'm learning,
Right.
but I would definitely, and I do think that a lot is I am learning some I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like I am, like, completing a puzzle. Like, I just still don't know what it is. I'm kinda getting, like, the border. I don't know what the fuck it is. It could be the Mona Lisa, it could just be an asshole. I don't know. But I definitely feel like I am, like it doesn't all feel for naught. Like, I
It
feel like
is.
I am assembling something.
You are. I think, and I mean, it's a very basic human instinct to think that you're working towards something greater because I mean, it just like everything in a weird way has its own purpose. And so when you look at like the concepts of consciousness or like what happens, and I kind of want to read. You said that was a book, Proof of
Proof of
Heaven.
Heaven by Dr.
Yeah,
Eben Alexander.
Yeah, like, I'm writing that one down because, like,
He was a hardcore atheist, dude. Like that's what makes it so interesting.
uh, it's interesting because, like, I think the more I so one really cool thing about reality is that it's, you know, basic quantum physics where it's like I know basic quantum physics, that sounds funny,
Basic quantum physics, you know.
but light is both a particle and a wave at the same
Yeah,
time.
superposition, you're standing still and sitting, you know,
Yeah, and
or standing
so
still and moving, sorry.
you start to wonder, like, you know, when you question like the mechanics of like God or heaven or things like that, like maybe the answer is a lot more complicated than anything you can process. Like, I don't know if you've ever, if you project a 3D surface down into two dimensions, like there's always going to be parts of it that you just miss because you're projecting it down. So I mean, if there is a higher, you know, existence, consciousness, things like that, like there are going to be parts of it that we just don't actively perceive.
You gotta one thing I always think about is like I remember playing Just Cause 4, which has a ridiculously huge map. And I was on this like hoverboard. And one day I just was going to the horizon. It's like, how far does this go? Like Grand Theft Auto 5, you can go like a mile or two out before you hit like a fake wall, which is like your vehicle stops working. And if you're swimming, like a shark comes and eats you. But I was on Just Cause 4 and I was going for like a half hour. And I put like a waypoint on the nearest beach and I was like 30 kilometers out. And I was like, this is just cute. And I finally looked it up. Apparently the limit's like 35. But like after like 10, like as you move farther and farther out, like the land masses start proportionally, they don't shrink as fast anymore as you're going farther and farther out. And like, and the ultimate conclusion was like, the game's not out here. The game isn't to find the edge of the map. The game is like the plot. And that's something I kind of think of is like, we're never going to find the edge of the universe. We're never going to find the smallest particle. Part of me thinks that's running out to the edge of the map. And it's like, that's not the point of the game, dipshit. If you open up an Excel spreadsheet and just scroll all the way down, because you haven't found the bottom of it doesn't mean that like, well, then what's it for? It's like, no, it's for fucking tracking data. You're like, you're not, you know, the best podcast episode I'll ever do won't be the longest one. It's like, that's not what it is. It's so that's something I often kind of think of as like, there are limits to like running in one direction forever.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're all characters in a sandbox. It's a video
Yeah,
game.
yeah, fuck if I know. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know. Work hard, find love. I mean, that's about it.
yeah,
That's all
pretty
I
much.
got. 32 years in. That's my. I'm on season 32.
Yeah, don't be a dick unless you absolutely have to be.
Yeah, work hard, express love and receive love, and don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Unless you have to be.
Unless
Sometimes
someone's
you
like threatening your family,
yeah,
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 then
yeah,
you
yeah.
got sure you got to aim high. But that's not being a dick. That's defending your family.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know what the fuck's going on in this reality. I don't know
No,
at all. What the fuck am I doing? Doing a
I don't
pod?
know.
What the fuck am I doing? I have no business interviewing Charlie Duke multiple times with you. We're in way too far over our head, Aaron.
Yeah, we are, man, but
I just all that confidence just evaporated, and I realized like, what in God's name is fucking going on? Oh, there's that anxiety that I thought was gone.
yep, it always comes
It
back.
always comes back,
Mm,
and I'm gonna do what I always do to treat it. I'm gonna wrap this podcast up, and I'm gonna boot up some Ghost Recon.
nice.
Hey, text me. I'll send you my whatever the fuck gamer tag is, and
Yeah, man.
all right, buddy. Well, hey, I'll message you this episode when it's up.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And I'll message you. I'll send you the link for that book.
Please do. Also, I probably still have them all, but send me the links for like your company and all that good stuff. I probably still have the
Not my company anymore, dude. I'm out.
note. All right, noted. All
Yeah,
right. Well, if you want me to put anything in the description, text to me. If not, whatever.
yeah. We're good. Yeah,
Gucci. All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
Aaron.
man.
I love you, brother. Thank you so much
I
for
love you
coming
too,
on.
bro.
Aaron
Always an
Shephard,
honor.
the sexiest man in the world. Don't let
Mm,
anybody tell you otherwise. Just fucking, he's a big old glass of hot chocolate.
I mean, I am.